Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rombauer Hour. We are back again, the three jokers. Tonight is our dessert wine edition. So, my name is Rich Allen. I'm the Vice President of Viticulture and Winemaker. Gentlemen, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name's Luke Clayton. I'm the winemaker here. And next to me is, tonight, Andrew, you're not the token American.
No, I'm going to have some company.
Yes.
But Andrew Holloway, Associate Winemaker. For now.
So we're in the middle of harvest right now, so we're all a little bit frazzled, longer beards than normal.
I think I look good with my beard.
Yeah.
My hair's looking pretty good.
I shaved this morning.
We'll let our guests debate how good you look, but if you've ever watched these before, you'll know that if you've ever been on and watched the stream and the feed, and you'll see the comments, there's a couple of people who like to make some very, very funny comments. That's our wives. They like to give us a hard time online. And one night they came up with the idea of doing a dessert edition and pairing some wines that you don't see very often, which is a couple of our dessert wines, with each of them. So we decided that would be a great idea, and we were going to get them on the show. So they're going to be on, and we're going to cut to a little video that we filmed earlier of them getting ready for making desserts.
Hi, and welcome to the Rombauer Hour Dessert Edition. We are so excited to be here today. We usually watch every month, but from behind the scenes. My name is Natalie. I am Richie's wife.
I'm Allie. I'm Andrew's wife.
And I am Kristen. I am Luke's wife, and we are in my kitchen today, and we will be making some of our favorite desserts. I will be making my family's favorite chocolate cake. However, I have to turn them into cupcakes because my two little girls will fight over who gets the biggest slice.
And I'll be making a tiramisu because who doesn't love a good tiramisu?
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll be making a vanilla bean panna cotta. It's a spin-off from one of our favorite desserts at a local restaurant in St. Helena. One of the questions I know we get asked a lot is, how did we meet our husbands? How did we end up out here? Andrew and I are actually high school sweethearts. We're from Oklahoma. Andrew's family is in the restaurant business, so his parents have been coming to Napa for, his whole family actually, for as long as they can remember. They got connected with Kerner Rombauer a long time ago. His mom is probably one of the biggest Rombauer Chardonnay fans that I know of. And so when Andrew was deciding what to do with his life, instead of going pre-med, he ended up coming out, working a harvest with Richie, and staying. And here we are 10 years later.
Well, I'm glad he decided that.
It's worked out for us. Kristen has a pretty good one though.
Well, Luke and I met, actually, when this is airing, 16 years ago will be our anniversary.
Oh,
we met,
congratulations.
yes, and actually, if it wasn't for Rombauer, we never would have met. We met at a Rombauer barbecue that some of the interns were having, and he was supposed to only be here for 3 months. We met, and he stayed for 16 years. So,
Richie and I actually met back in 1999 when we studied our science undergraduates together back in Australia. And we were just friends for the longest time. We were probably friends for almost 10 years before we even started dating. But in that time, Richie went off to Adelaide and studied winemaking and randomly got placed at Rombauer Vineyards for a single harvest. And things just worked so well for him at Rombauer, their philosophies aligned, and I ended up moving over here and the rest is history. Yeah. But a great little anecdote is I didn't really know what Rombauer was, and I remember sitting on the plane flying over to San Francisco and the gentleman next to me asking me what I was doing flying to San Francisco, and I said, my boyfriend works for this winery called Rombauer Vineyards. And the guy nearly wet his pants. He was so excited because being an American, he knew exactly what Rombauer was. And I was like, oh wow, maybe I'm onto something here.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now that we've had a chance to tell you a little bit more about us, let's kick it back over to the guys and see what wines they've got paired for our desserts. We can't wait to show you our recipes. Cheers. Cheers.
Well, you can see we're all going to get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah. So again, this is almost like that first day of school where I am so excited but nervous. I'm in so much trouble later.
Yeah, Andrew, I've already got an eye roll count. They took my pen, so from rehearsals I'm at to 6. So if people at home can continue counting and let me know what I get up to at the end.
Keep
that'd
the
be
ticker
awesome.
going.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'd be much appreciated.
And Richie jumped the gun earlier, but what you really need to do at home is pour yourself a glass of wine so you can join in the fun with us. We are doing the dessert wines this evening, but really any Rombar wine
I can hear
will fit the bill.
you're a bit nervous in your voice there, Andrew. Is that
I am.
because your boss is going to be on?
There's a background nerve, and yeah, I'm getting a review later tonight, so I know how this is going to go.
Well, the first wine, if you've got the wines at home, the first wine we're going to taste is Joy. So, Andrew, why don't you
Yeah.
tell everyone at home about this wine? It's a special wine. It's something we don't do very often. It's very hard to make, and yeah.
Yeah. So,
What is
well, I
it?
mean, it's going to pair with a special person's dessert tonight, so I have to speak about it.
I'll get you a glass.
Yeah, no, thank you. But yeah, so Joy is a botrytized Chardonnay. So basically, botrytis is noble rot, and it really,
Sounds fancy.
yeah, it is. But what it does is in the vineyard, it concentrates the flavors, the acid, the sugar, and it creates a wine that is, super rich, intense, unctuous, and it goes back to the first year we made it, 97. It really just started with high botrytis pressure in the vineyard. So we were seeing a block that made exceptional looking botrytis Chardonnay, and so we decided, well, not me before my time, but maybe at Richie's
were you,
time,
like
maybe
5
Richie's
back
time,
then?
yeah.
Andrew, you need to look at the camera when you're talking. You keep talking to Luke, and you're talking to the people at home.
Well, I am funny,
Well,
and yeah,
I am. It's a lot to take in. But so botrytis Chardonnay, and so there was an exceptional block that year, and conditions have to be perfect. And so you really are looking for grapes that are getting complete botrytis infection, concentration of flavors, sugar, acid, and then we're picking those grapes
At
generally.
that point, it's always touch and go, because
It
when
is.
you get that much botrytis in the vineyard, it's
Right.
always the end of the season. And if you get a heavy rain, that botrytis, the grapes start to fall apart, and you get all these other secondary infections. You
Right.
get black rot. But what we just want is botrytis. So
Right,
it's
so it has to be ideal conditions.
near perfect.
Yes, and so there's only since I've been here, 2010, we've only made it 2 times, and are hoping for this year, and it's looking incredible.
Yeah.
But really, 15 and 18 are the last 2 times we've made it, and before that was 9, and that was before I even started. So you can see how rare it is, and so ideal conditions are really hard to hit the nail on the head and hit it perfectly in line.
And
So
this,
can you get this wine, Andrew?
Yeah, so actually, we've been sold out for months, but tonight we have a few cases available online, rombauer.com, only this evening. So you better jump on, because I might get on after the show and get some for
I know
myself.
from my perspective, I've made this wine 6 or 7 times now. 18 for me is probably the best vintage we've ever had, because we had very, very ripe grapes, but pure botrytis infection, and it's very rare that you get conditions like that.
Yeah.
And so the sugar levels for making this wine were the highest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was twice as high as normal Chardonnay, and it's the best, probably the 18 is the best vintage of Joy I've ever made.
And it was pushing
So-
the limits, and not only is the sugar high, but the acids are high as well, so they all balance each other. So it's incredible.
But we've talked a lot about the wine.
Yeah, so we got it.
I feel like now we should, we're going to pair this with a dessert.
Yeah, and so Allie has made Panna Cotta, one of my personal favorites. So let's see what she has in store for us.
Today I'll be showing you how to make my version of Panna Cotta. This starts with 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of heavy cream that you're going to boil on the stovetop with a 1/2 cup of sugar, just until simmering. That takes about 7 minutes. You want the sugar to dissolve nicely. In my Panna Cotta version, I add 1/2 of a vanilla bean, so sliced with the seeds out, and I steep that in with the cream and sugar to give it that nice vanilla bean flavor. This is the point where you could kind of make it your own. You could keep it simple and fresh, just cream and sugar. You could add some citrus zest, maybe lemon or orange, a little almond extract, really whatever flavors your family likes. My family is vanilla ice cream, vanilla bean, so that's the way we make ours. You're going to add 3 tablespoons of water, sprinkle a gelatin packet over that. That's going to be the part that kind of really solidifies the cream into that nice creamy velvety texture. Once all that's mixed in, you'll top it off with a sprinkle of salt and 1 2/3 cup of buttermilk. That's where that little tang comes from. This will get poured into ramekins, where it'll go into the fridge for 2 to 3 hours to set. And then I like to top mine off with fresh seasonal berries. I have blackberries and strawberries today, but whatever season you're in, you could do peaches, nectarines, anything works.
Wow, that's awesome, Allie. Good job.
Thank you.
Way to appear.
Yeah, television magic.
Magic.
Yeah, movie magic.
She's incredible. Look at that. But I mean, So I love panna cotta, but why did you choose that?
Well,
as your
besides the
dessert?
fact that
Right.
you maybe recommended that I make it.
Strong nudge.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we found Panna Cotta at a local restaurant in St. Helena, and it quickly became one of our favorite desserts, definitely one of Andrew's favorite desserts. So much so that when we lived up there, we would make dinner at home and then actually call in a Panna Cotta to go and bring it home and eat it. So I thought maybe I should try to start making that. So a couple years ago, I made it for Andrew's birthday, and it's quickly become a favorite of ours. It's nice because you make it in ramekins, so you can easily double the recipe for a dinner party and have 12 individual desserts. It's an easy one to make ahead of time, keep it in the fridge, and it's ready to go.
Yeah, and you know, back in the day when I would order it and not have like 6 of these at home, I would get one to go, have one at the bar while I was waiting, and then take it home.
Yeah, it shows, Andrew.
I might not have done
It was
that.
showing.
Good idea,
But
Andrew.
so we have them in front of us.
I think
They
we
look
So we
should
should
great.
roast them.
probably
Yes.
taste it and then see how it goes with the joy here.
Joy.
All right, excuse us while we show our face.
Chow down.
All right, everybody get quiet on camera. Right?
Uh-huh.
You can taste the vanilla.
Yeah, so that steep vanilla bean, really good.
It's funny because the Joy, this particular vintage has a lot of that roasted nut character from the botrytis, and it's sort of that baked vanilla,
Yeah,
and it pairs really well with the vanilla and the panna cotta.
it's almost like a baked pie. Like it
Yeah.
pairs really well with that like creaminess, and then the acidity helps cut through. So it's that fruit texture with it.
I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. It's like drizzling it with a little bit of honey that has the most intense flavor of like apricot that you can think of.
I know, I had to put mine down.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Jump my face
you
on
mentioned
TV.
apricot. I mean, you could easily make this. I topped it with berries, but you could top it with peaches, nectarines, apricots, and it would probably pair, even better. You could even, instead of vanilla bean, do
Yeah.
a little citrus zest
And
and steep with that.
I really like citrus, those kind of
your
flavors,
kind of
like high
dessert.
acid.
We know.
And vanilla.
Yeah,
You're very
vanilla.
plain,
I
Andrew.
know. It's
Very
hard
vanilla.
to be, I can't have awesome flavors as well to be awesome.
That's
He
a.
tries.
But
And at
so
home,
what
if
other,
you don't like, do you always pair this particular dish with a botrytis wine at home? I'm asking because I know I've had this with you a couple of times and we've never done that.
yeah, no, I think it's generally late in the evening and we've probably had a little bit too much wine. And so it's just dessert time. But I mean, I wish the flavors are so good. It plays like perfectly with it. The acidity, those like bright stone fruit flavors, especially if you did one with like candied peaches on top, it would be
Oh, yeah.
delicious.
Beyond to something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be our next try. And then I think there's another style iteration that we've talked about, but we've never done.
Yeah. Have you ever done it with chocolate?
Well, Luke asked me this earlier, and
Yeah.
I thought that's where my head's going next. I'm a chocolate person, while my husband and daughter
Yeah.
might be vanilla.
So Shane, you're very plain. She's a lot of
Vanilla
party.
flavors.
it, not us.
I do prefer chocolate, so you could easily throw in some chocolate chips, let that melt. And,
Well, speaking of chocolate, Luke, that's one of your favorite things as well.
Yeah, I love chocolate, and thank you for the lovely segue, everyone. They couldn't set me up even better. Than, our next bit is my gorgeous wife over there. She is, for the segment, is making a chocolate cake, but tonight she's made them into cupcakes because it's easier for us and the kids don't fight about it. But we're pairing it with classic Zinfandel. So Zinfandel is rich and jammy, so it can pair with barbecue, mole, or chocolate, which I love. Shows sometimes because, goddamn, chocolate just tastes so good.
So do you like chocolate? Do you like it?
Just a little. But so our Zinfandel is made in a traditional winemaking process here at Rombauer. But if you want to see, we've done other Rombauer hours that you can flick back to afterwards and see the process of Zinfandel. But you know what? That's enough of me. Andrew, pour us some Zinfandel because we're thirsty. And let's go to my gorgeous wife, Kristen.
Hi guys, today I will be making my family's favorite chocolate cake that you could find in The Joy of Cooking. It is actually known as the Rombauer Special, and it first appeared in the 1931 edition of The Joy of Cooking. So we will begin with our sifted flour, add in our baking powder, and then our salt. Whisk those together, set those aside. We will move on to our chocolate. We want to put our chocolate in a double boiler, and then once that's all melted, we're gonna add in a 1/3 cup of boiling water. Whisk that until smooth. The butter, you wanna add that into the mixer. Mix that until creamed, and when I say creamed, you'll see it gets a smooth consistency, and it's a little kind of light and airy in a way. And then slowly we will add in the sugar. Once the sugar's all incorporated, you wanna beat that until it's really light and fluffy. So I'd say about 5 minutes. Once the butter and the sugar are all well incorporated, we're gonna add in the egg yolks one at a time. Mix those all in really good, and then we will start adding in our chocolate. Completely cooled, put that in, mix really well. Then we add our flour and our milk. So we just wanna make sure we add them in slowly in 3 parts. Add a little bit of flour, then we're gonna add in a little bit of milk, and then we add in the vanilla, and then we move on to the egg whites. I like to whisk them all or use a hand mixer because my hand will get way too tired. And then we whisk them until they're light and fluffy and airy. So just whisk them until they, soft peaks start to form. Then we will gently fold them into our cake batter. Once you fold in your egg whites, make sure you do this quite gently, but you really want to incorporate them. You will then either add them into your cupcake tins or your cake pans. So I like to use about a 1/4 cup of batter for each cupcake. And then once that is all done, I will go ahead and put them in the oven. For cupcakes, you bake them for about 25 minutes at 350. If you're baking a cake, you want to bake it for about 30 minutes at 350. Take them out, make sure the little stick comes out clean, and you got delicious cupcakes or cake.
Or cake, hey?
Yeah.
Good job, babe. That was awesome. I hadn't seen that before, so that was great. All the ladies are very excited and nervous to be here.
I do like the Rombauer coloured sprinkles personally.
Yes.
That is courtesy of our girls. They decided to take over the decorating process, and
It almost looks
we were left
professional.
with.
I mean, I think they honestly did a lot better than I was expecting for an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Usually you got to find the cupcake underneath the
Right,
sprinkle.
right. There's a mountain.
Yeah, there is. All right, babe.
Well, I feel like we should
Dig in.
dig in and taste it with the wine and see what it's like, right?
All right. I got a fork.
You got to
Yeah, we're barbarians. Go for it,
Yeah.
Andrew. Everyone watch Andrew.
Even.
eat, Zoom in, Andrew. Yeah, get it? There you are.
I even got some cake in there.
We'll have chocolate in our teeth.
I love how everyone stuffs their face at the same time and it goes quiet while we eat.
Yeah.
That gives everyone a time home to process.
Yeah.
But really, it's the richness of
delicious.
chocolate. I mean, the richness of it with the Zen is delicious. The berry flavors really play with it.
Yeah.
And then that spice
And it's
component really comes out.
almost like brings out almost like a liqueur.
Yeah,
in
it
the,
does.
the
It's
Zinfandel.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you get those stuffed cupcakes? It's almost like you're having that, but with the wine and the cupcake together.
So the best of both worlds.
It is.
So you're saving calories, Andrew. with
I am,
the
yeah.
liqueur, wine, and...
Or I'm doing it in 2 steps.
But I can't remember if you said anything, but when did you first make these? Wasn't it like my birthday time?
Yes,
Which is awesome
I made
time.
them for his birthday. His birthday is around the holidays, and I actually was looking for something to pair with the Zin, because actually his favorite wine is the Zinfandel. And I came across this recipe in the Joy of Cooking, and it actually called for cinnamon and cloves. Now, it was a great holiday recipe. However, during the year, when it was, I think it was August, right before harvest, he asked for the cake again. And I said, okay, great, I'll make it. But I took out the cinnamon and cloves, and we found it was amazing, even without it. And it turned into our favorite cake. Now we make it anytime he has an inkling for chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, and there's an interesting, I think, texture from something in there.
Like the eggs.
Yeah.
They're delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, where did those eggs come from?
The eggs that I use, actually, in most of my baking, come from the viticulturist at Rombauer, Patrick Tokar. He has a little couple chickens, and we use all of their eggs.
Yep. And his swimming pool in the summertime.
And, and the kids love to play with the chickens.
Yes. Oh, those poor chickens.
But they are a hit.
They are, yes.
What about the frosting, love?
Yeah, so the frosting, you didn't go over the frosting
I
in the
didn't.
video.
No, and it's because I use just a standard buttercream frosting. However, you could use any type of frosting. I like to alternate between chocolate and vanilla. We usually use more chocolate in our house. But around the holidays,
Team vanilla.
yeah,
Hey, we got personality over here, Andrew. Just,
Yeah, I'm trying to balance it here.
around the holidays, I like to actually sprinkle a little bit of candy cane, so a little peppermint on top that go pair nicely with the cinnamon and cloves.
she's so festive.
I love Christmas, so does Luke.
Yeah, I
So we
do.
like to
Well, easy.
celebrate Christmas as much as we can. So
You are a Griswold, Luke.
I wish I could get his lights on my house.
Yeah.
If anyone can hook me up with that, let me know.
Seriously, DM.
Yeah, I am seriously. Yeah.
No, but and also with the Zinfandel, it reminds me of some other really good pairings that historically we've had. You know, at our wedding, we're big fans of s'mores,
Oh yeah.
and chocolate is obviously one of Allie's favorites. So the s'mores and Zinfandel is always a great pairing, especially around like a fire. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to beat.
Are you saying these cupcakes are no good, Andrew?
No, I'm offering something to put with them. I like dual desserts.
as an alternative,
Not just our classic Zinfandel, but you know our Eldorado Zinfandel.
Oh, yeah,
Twin Rivers.
especially.
I reckon the Napa's in with the cupcake.
Yeah, Napa Zin would be.
It is quite
very-
spicy at Christmas time.
Time of year.
Man, I'm ready for
And
Christmas.
this is the 19, so this is the new release. So it's still very vibrant, it's still very, very fresh. The spice is there, but the wine's still very, very jammy. So it does well with any chocolate-based dessert straight off the bat.
Yeah.
So
No, it pairs really well, and like the textures of it play really well with it too.
well,
I think it's Richie's turn.
last but
I
not
don't
least,
know. Is that what it is? Not least.
it's
Not
time. It's time for one of my favorite desserts, and my
better be.
wife makes a great tiramisu. So let's see that.
Hello again. So now we're going to make some tiramisu. So tiramisu is an Italian dessert, and the word tiramisu literally means pick me up in Italian. It hails from the Veneto region of Italy, where my family is originally from. And I'd love to tell you that this is a recipe that my nonna taught me, but it's not. It's one I came across in Australia, and it has become a family favorite of ours in the Allen household. So it's pretty simple, and a lot of people often comment on how simple, they're quite surprised how simple it is actually. So we have 6 eggs that are separated here. And the first thing I do is take the egg yolks and combine them with 5 tablespoons of sugar and mix until they're nice and creamy. Then I will mix 1 teaspoon of sugar with the egg whites and mix that into stiff peaks. Then I'll take the egg yolks and mix in the mascarpone cheese, 1 scoop at a time until we get this nice fluffy consistency. Then we will take the beaten egg whites and fold them in to the mascarpone egg mix. It's really important to fold them in. This keeps this part of the tiramisu very light and fluffy and airy. So once that's done, I set it aside, and I usually get Richie to do the next part, which is breaking up the ladyfinger biscuits. Now, sometimes people use these whole and dip them into the coffee mixture, but we like to crush them up in our house. It just makes the mixing easier, and it's just, I don't know, a lot more enjoyable to eat. So you pop the coffee in with the masala and mix it up. Take the crushed ladyfinger biscuits, you mix that all together, and some bits will be a little bit dry, but that's fine. You want it to be on the slightly more dry side, because as this sits in the fridge, some more moisture will soak into those biscuits. You don't want it too moist to start with, otherwise it could end up soggy. So we layer that biscuit mixture into your serving dish, or you could use individual glasses as well. Then you put your mascarpone and egg mix on top, and then we use our cocoa powder then to sprinkle over the top. That's it. That's how I make my tiramisu. I hope you and your family enjoy making it too.
Oh, great job, Nat. Great job.
Yeah.
But in typical Richie fashion, Andrew, he jumped like 10 paragraphs and everything.
Yeah. He's
so-
always a skip ahead guy. Isn't he?
He
I
is,
forgot
he's-
to talk
yeah.
about what
He's
wine we were
forward
pairing.
thinking.
I'm
Maybe
so
I was
eager.
a little bit nervous.
I'm so eager. My wife's coming on. Oh my gosh. So before we start, let's talk about this beauty, Andrew. Can you explain the Solera for us?
Well, yeah, so Solera, port-style wine, comes from our El Dorado estate up in the Sierra Foothills. So we have classic Portuguese varietals.
And what are they?
Well, you know, Touriga Nacional, Tinta Cal, Susal, and Avalero. But you know, we don't like. Yeah, thanks for the quiz. But so we bring them in and process them like, you know, red grapes. We destem them and put them into a tank, basically.
Yes.
We start fermenting. We partially ferment and then we fortify with brandy.
What does fortify mean?
So fortify means we start getting to the sugar down to about halfway. So we get to a certain alcohol level and sugar level, and then we add new grape spirit, which brings the alcohol up to about 20%, which then kills the ferment, leaves some residual sugar, and makes that wine, you know, unctuous, sweet,
and high in alcohol.
And high in alcohol.
Yeah.
And then we go and age it in the caves, and we blend in a Solera style system. So we blend multiple vintages together to make something where we blend the old with the new. And so we get the benefits of the new, the big fruitfulness, the intensity, and we get those aged characters and the really depth of flavor on the palate with the aged Solera. So we're making a wine that's consistent year to year, but it's bringing in the best components of each vintage.
Wow, Andrew, that was actually really good.
I amazed myself on that.
I was amazed by that one too. Richie, are you
So
going
we'll
to
let
describe
Richie
how the
expand
wine
on it.
is?
Yeah, so I mean,
And everything else,
with
and
all
your
those,
wife's here,
all
so-
those components, you know, they go back to the 1990 is the oldest component in the
Yeah.
Solera. So we've been doing this for 30 years, and so the average age, just because we've crept up production a little, is about 10 years. So it's a pretty rare wine. We only bottle a couple hundred cases every year, but if you stick your nose in the glass, it has that Christmas cake, blackberry, spice, mint, cocoa, chocolate.
Yeah.
There's a hint of brandy and vanilla, which, you know, blend seamlessly together, but it's a very complex wine with lots of layers.
Yeah,
So, and because it's so powerful, it needs a strongly flavored dish, and those coffee mocha flavors go well with tiramisu.
Yeah, for
So-
sure. Why don't we dig in and have a sample of the
I mean,
tiramisu
this
with
thing
the
is
Solera?
staring at me.
Yeah, I know, we're all like,
It is, right? No matter how many times I've had it, it's still very Moorish.
Nat, these glasses look familiar.
Yeah,
Are these
I
your
know.
Cosmo glasses?
They are usually my cocktail glasses, but I have my own. That's
Yeah.
you do have your own.
Yeah, because you know Richie
Because
doesn't
I'm not
share.
eating
Richie
mine
is the worst. Don't ever share food with this guy. It's a nightmare.
It just
Could we just put that on a little sound clip? Oh, he's a nightmare.
So if you have a taste of the tiramisu, you'll get the coffee, the masala from the biscuit, the vanilla, the sweetness and the creaminess from the egg yolks, and the cocoa on top. And because the cocoa is not a sweet cocoa, it has like that bitter chocolate.
Ooh, that's delicious.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
and on the wine, you see those really intense fruit flavors, but you get that toffee, that caramel.
The toffee
goes under
really
the
comes through.
wine.
Yeah.
And you really bring out the depth of the wine. And you know, when you think of port, you think of, you know, sweet wines. But really, there's so many layers to it with those age characters that it's one of the most complex wines I think, you know, we really make. And the layers to it and then how they play with food are really incredible.
Yeah, and the one thing about this tiramisu recipe, it's not overly sweet, so you can still taste that sweetness in the wine without being bombarded by the sugar in the dessert.
Hey, Nat, where do you get these biscuits from down the bottom?
You know, okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that because sometimes these ladyfinger biscuits can be difficult to find. So in the past, we have sort of tried different things. You could use something like pound cake. If you wanted to keep it strictly sort of Italian, you could use a panettone. But honestly, my advice, if you can't find these ladyfinger biscuits, which has been a little bit of trouble lately, I would recommend making either Kristen or Ali's recipe instead.
So Nat, it was actually quite funny. So when Nat, you guys came up with the idea for this, I'm like, well, Nat, can you do your tiramisu? So, okay. And then the marketing staff who run all the production and do all of that, they're like, well, we need the recipe. And you don't actually have a recipe for this. You do
It was a panic moment, I'm not going to lie.
because you know how many eggs, you know roughly how much sugar, and you just do it by feel. So you actually have to make it a couple of times and work out the proportions to write down
I
because you
could
don't use a
literally
recipe.
make this dessert in my sleep, but I did have to measure things out for once. So
Yeah.
it was good though. It's a good experience to have it. I
I'm
put it in
gonna
the
keep
family
eating mine.
cookbook.
So Nat, I can't remember if you said on your flick because I was talking smack to Andrew, but is this an old like Italian recipe from back in the day?
Look, it is, and it is from the Veneto region, which
Yeah.
is where my family does come from. But it was a recipe I learnt back in Australia, and I did start making it back there originally. And it's just been such a popular recipe over the years that it's one I just continue to make because it's a crowd pleaser.
So what you're saying, it's a classic Aussie Italian dish.
Absolutely, and
And
yeah.
what I find interesting is you can make it in the individual portions, or you can make a larger, almost like pan-sized portion,
That's my favorite
and then
kind.
just scoop out of it.
It's
And
like family
that's what I always
style.
remember
So
is
we
that.
usually at home we make it family style, and we actually have some really good friends. Hi, Alison and Mingo, if you're watching. That we actually have a tiramisu bowl that goes back and forth between dinner parties. That I
Smoke
fill it
them
up and we empty it, and it's known as the tiramisu bowl. And
Oh,
it's
that's
just yeah.
And I heard the one that you replaced this one, David, the
Camera guy.
Camera
Guy
guy.
behind the camera.
He from the photo shoot, he sat there and ate the whole thing, watching, I believe, Clueless. So
No, it was Gossip Girl. I think it was
Gossip
Gossip Girl.
We're getting into
brilliant.
the down
So that's how good it is.
That's how good it is. You will watch.
You make
yeah,
a
you'll
grown
binge-
man sit and watch Gossip Girl.
binge watch Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
So,
So-
well, that's
Well,
fantastic.
and then something else is, with Solera, what else do you all think of? I mean, obviously there's a perfect pairing in front of us. But, for me, this is almost the perfect world for me because there's that creaminess below it.
Is there vanilla in it, Andrew?
There's like that
Vanilla
marshmallow.
and
So
I
I
reckon
love it.
a berry souffle.
Well, so I would love creme brulee. And that
Creme brulee would be
like
good.
What I would
Get that
love.
caramelized.
Yeah.
When we're back
Yeah.
next
With the
year for this
toffee.
show, Andrew, you can make a creme brulee.
Yeah, I'll make it.
All right.
I can screw that up quick.
You screw a lot of things up, Andrew. Anyway, let's get. When we
Where's
get the
Ali
group
and
back
Kristen?
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring Ellie and
Get
Chris.
the
Yeah.
other wives
Wives.
here. Hopefully, there's no more eye rolls on my account, but it could go in overtime the last few minutes. We're sorry, my babe. Sorry, there you go.
All right, so you've all had the wines.
I'll have
Andrew, what was your favorite pairing?
Well, I really love the Joy. It's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's actually what I'm pouring right now.
Paired
and-
with the Panna Cotta.
And Panna Cotta is always, I love vanilla.
Yeah.
But really, tiramisu is really hard to beat. And
You drink
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of coffee, so
I
it's
drink a
probably
lot
the
of coffee, so that flavor of that is like
See,
just
Nat,
coffee.
You have a little
Just-
trick with the coffee part of it.
So I was going to say I did actually make it with caffeinated coffee today because it's harvest and
Yeah, and we need it right now.
And we only drink about 6 or 7 cups of
Right,
coffee a day.
but my
during
daughter
harvest.
actually really likes this recipe too. So quite often I make it with decaffeinated coffee.
Clever.
So that's another option too.
It does help when it's a late night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Luke, what's your favorite pairing?
Oh, well, I'll go with cupcakes because I like my life.
Life and wife.
I'm with you. It's
Happy life,
chocolate.
happy life.
But actually, something that we didn't pair tonight, actually, Ali makes these delicious chocolate chip cookies, which are phenomenal.
They make a regular
Andrew
appearance.
ruined the last batch last night.
Yeah, but the night before,
But we're
I
fantastic.
did not
Which
screw
is-
them up.
which
I
is
let Allie make them.
Perfect with coffee in the morning. So if we ever do another one, that's
Yeah,
what
I
we're
made
doing,
a
Ali.
little harvest treat for the guys. I know they're working hard, but I think that goes well with the Zinfandel.
I know. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Talking about harvest, at the moment you ladies are harvest widows because we're in the middle of harvest right now,
This
as
is-
Richard
yeah.
mentioned. That's why I look so good.
Well, I think
Yeah, actually, upstairs the guys are working on Zinfandel right now.
They
Yeah,
are,
we're having
yes.
actually, it's our biggest day of Crush so far, and somehow we've squeezed in the live stream. So, well done.
So hooray!
It's been fun. We get a little chance to hang out with you guys. We don't see you guys too often this time of year. So.
right,
No.
this is the most time I've actually spent with Richie
Yeah.
this time of
Yeah,
year.
the
first
so-
meal
We'll take
I've had
every
with
hour.
him in
We'll
a
take every
while.
hour we can get during
So,
harvest.
okay, we all get together on a regular basis. You guys made the desserts tonight, but when we usually get together, who does the cooking?
Okay, I need to confess that Normally, okay, the hardest thing this time of year for me is that my chef is out of action. So
I might be guilty of that too now.
Yeah.
Right.
Same boat.
If we're being real.
Sorry, love you.
I do everything.
I think there's a lot of cereal being eaten at our house.
that's why we have you over at our house so often, is so that Richie can cook for all of us.
And it gives me a break.
Yeah,
It's
my,
nice.
my job is to fill the glasses up.
He's a
And work
professional
on his
wine
jokes.
drinker.
Great job.
Yes.
He's very good at that.
Yeah.
And so what? So when you're like it's harvest and I'm not there to cook the meals, what do you have, Dad?
I just want to say that after I feed our daughter a nutritious, wholesome meal,
Yeah, she
and
eats
put
the
her
best
to
out of all of
bed,
us.
She does. I usually have toast or cereal for dinner. I'm so exhausted, but yeah, I definitely do miss my chef drink.
Your chef doing ours.
So, how did you ladies like? Did you like it being here, or behind the camera, on the couch drinking some Chardonnay, and
what was more
tweeting
fun?
on us and commenting, or being here in front? And
It was fun. However, it's very nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie. I've been sweating all day thinking about it.
You know, we had a little
But
Chardonnay to calm the nerves.
I
that
do
helped.
miss being on the couch with my glass of Chardonnay on my phone, giving them a hard time. I will lie.
It's
So
definitely
which Chardonnay,
easier.
not just the favorite wines tonight, what are your favorite wines?
Rombauer wines.
Rombauer wines.
Chardonnay, the Rombauer Chardonnay, just hands down.
Look, I have to
don't
say,
drink anything
Rombauer
else.
Chardonnay single-handedly got us through homeschooling lockdown situation.
For real.
Without shutting
It's a savior.
It was a saving grace. It was, you know, Kristen and I texting each other, is it 5 o'clock? Yes. Like 4:59, close enough, let's go.
Yeah.
East Coast time.
Yeah.
East Coast time, right. So yeah, it's hard to look past the Chardonnay, but
Allie, what do you?
I mean, I would agree, Chardonnay.
Yeah.
That's probably why I like the Joy the best out of them today.
Yeah.
'cause,
Yeah.
You know, Chardonnay. So
I have to say, I've
That would
never
be
had
better.
the Solera,
Solera.
and it was amazing. I just tried it.
That was Nat's
It's
first time as
really
well.
good.
yeah, special treat.
Yeah, it's
Such a
amazing.
treat.
Well, that kind of brings us to the end, guys. So
Well, no, but before that, I need to say hi, Mum and Dad, and all my family back in Australia. I mean, how often does this opportunity come up? And it's been such a pleasure to be here and spend some time with you guys and Rombauer Hour in general.
I just want to do a shout out to my dad. Happy birthday, Dad. It's your birthday today here is your birthday yesterday in Australia, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rick.
Well, we all need a big congrats as well because we have a anniversary tomorrow, don't we?
Ooh.
We do.
Yeah.
Kristen,
Yeah, 16
Yeah.
years.
16
you met
years
at
for-
a harvest party
Yeah.
16 years
Two of
ago.
us.
Cheers. Sorry, Mum. Hope you're doing home. All right.
Well, ladies, thank you so
Yes.
much for joining us. Guys, thank you for joining me again on the live stream, and Luke for being very, very funny.
Yeah, always. But mate, what are we
So says
going to be doing next time?
Well, a
Because
quick reminder, today and today only, you're able to buy the Joy online. We have a small amount of cases, they'll be available tonight only. So rombauer.com if you'd like to purchase some Joy. The 18 is particularly good. We'll be back next month for our red wine harvest, Rombauer Hour. My beard will be a little bit longer, so will Luke's.
And I'll be back on the couch.
The ladies will be back in the comment stream giving us a hard time. And hopefully we'll be showing you what we do to make red wine and cutting to Patrick live in the vineyard and doing all this again. So
hopefully we have some interns too, where it all started for us.
yeah, we'll have a few interns showing from around the world showing
Or
the viewers
Boston.
at home
Chile.
what we do in the cellar. So till next time, guys, cheers.
Hey, cheers. Everyone.